19th-century Turin breathed danger after sunset, and Saint Don Bosco walked its streets knowing hostility followed him. Among abandoned factories and narrow alley, threats whispered openly, yet his steps remained steady, as though an unseen promise moved beside him, guarding a mission heaven itself had already claimed. The young priest sensed that his calling placed him directly in harm's path. Each night, while guiding neglected boys home, shadows lingered too long. Still, Saint Don Bosco never hurried. His calm suggested trust and protection, not shaped by muscle or steel, but by divine intention. Witnesses later recalled the sudden appearance of an enormous gray maw emerging without sound. Its eyes reflected no animal instinct, only alert purpose. The streets fell quiet when it arrived, as if danger itself recognized an authority greater than human violence standing watch beside Saint Don Bosco. Children noticed first how fear dissolved whenever the dog appeared. Its size commanded space, yet its presence felt ordered, disciplined, almost reverent. Saint Don Bosco neither summoned nor dismissed it. He accepted its company like a gift already approved in heaven. Torino's rough districts tested resolve nightly. Gangs waited, blades hidden, intentions clear. Yet encounters ended strangely unfinished. The gray figure stood between threat and priest, unmoving. Those who meant harm retreated, shaken, unable to explain why terror replaced confidence in seconds. Saint Don Bosco never named the dog publicly at first. He walked, prayed, and spoke softly, while the creature matched his pace. There was no growling, no frenzy, only vigilance, precise and deliberate, as if each step were measured by a higher command. Rumors spread through Turin that something unnatural followed the priest. Some mocked, others feared it. Yet those who walked with Saint Don Bosco sensed order, not chaos. The presence felt protective, restrained, and purposeful, like a silent sentinel placed exactly where danger gathered. The dog appeared and vanished without pattern. No home claimed it, no chain held it. It arrived precisely when violence threatened and dissolved once safety returned. Such timing defied coincidence, inviting a question no skeptic could comfortably silence. Saint Don Bosco understood that heaven often works without announcement. He continued his mission, rescuing souls rather than seeking explanations. If protection accompanied obedience, he accepted it humbly, refusing spectacle, allowing mystery to remain intact and unclaimed by curiosity. By the time the name Grigio surfaced, the tension was already set. Turin's streets had learned restraint. Something walked beside Saint Don Bosco that night. Something not born of earth, waiting patiently for the moment when divine intervention would reveal itself unmistakably. One winter evening, violence finally revealed its intent. Saint Don Bosco turned into a narrow passage when footsteps rushed behind him. In that instant, Grigio surged forward, filling the alley with authority, teeth bared, body immovable, forcing armed men to freeze and retreat in terror. Witnesses swore the dog grew larger under lamplight, its presence bending the air. No blow landed, no cry escaped. The attackers later confessed paralysis, as though an unseen hand pressed upon their wills, commanding silence and withdrawal without physical struggle. Grigio never chased, never struck. He simply stood as boundary made flesh. Saint Don Bosco prayed quietly while danger dissolved. The encounter lasted seconds, yet those seconds carried the weight of judgment, leaving hardened men shaken beyond recovery or explanation. Such moments repeated across years, not once but many times. Knives were dropped, ambushes failed. Each time, Grigio appeared precisely when violence peaked, positioning himself between Saint Don Bosco and harm, enforcing order with terrifying restraint rather than attack alone and deliberate. Attempts to identify the animal failed completely. No owner stepped forward. No kennel held him. When pursued, Grigio vanished into darkness. Yet whenever Saint Don Bosco faced danger again, the same massive figure returned, unchanged, obedient only to divine timing. The miracle was not spectacle, but precision. Grigio never appeared by chance. He arrived with purpose, departed without trace. This pattern convinced observers that intelligence guided the events, not instinct, revealing a guardian assigned rather than an animal trained by heaven. Church witnesses recorded testimonies carefully, comparing accounts across years. Dates aligned, details matched. Independent observers described the same size, behavior, and timing. Such consistency transformed rumor into evidence, leaving clergy to acknowledge intervention exceeding natural explanation, without doubt or hesitation in official discernment. Saint Don Bosco himself spoke cautiously. He discouraged fascination, urging focus on God rather than instruments. Yet he admitted gratitude. Protection had been real. The danger had been mortal. What intervened behaved with authority no earthly creature could claim lawfully or naturally. The faithful later understood Grigio not as companion, but as boundary. Where Saint Don Bosco walked, heaven asserted limits. Violence could approach, threaten, even plan. Yet it could not cross the line drawn invisibly by divine command with absolute authority. Thus the miracle stood complete, not in myth, but in record. Grigio protected, appeared, vanished, and left no trace behind. What remained was certainty. God had intervened physically, decisively, and repeatedly, safeguarding Saint Don Bosco's mission on dangerous streets of 19th century Turin. Years passed, yet the memory of Grigio never faded from those streets. Long after threats ceased, men spoke quietly of nights when violence halted itself. The silence left behind carried weight, as if heaven had briefly rested its hand upon the city. Saint Don Bosco never claimed ownership of the miracle. He understood that divine protection is never granted for glory, only for obedience. The guardian appeared not to elevate a man, but to preserve a mission entrusted by God to fragile human hands. Children who grew into adults remembered walking safely beside Saint Don Bosco, sensing something unseen near them. Many later testified that fear never returned those nights, shaping their faith permanently, anchoring belief not in theory, but in lived protection. The church eventually recognized the pattern as more than coincidence. Records spoke clearly: repeated danger, identical intervention, unwavering restraint. Such harmony between event and purpose aligned with ancient understanding that God sometimes assigns guardians beyond human form. Grigio was never seen after Saint Don Bosco's work matured. Like all divine instruments, he withdrew once his task ended. The disappearance itself testified loudly, confirming that what appeared was never bound to earth or continuity beyond assignment. This miracle reshaped how protection was understood. Not every intervention shines. Some stand silently in alleys, enforcing limits without spectacle. God's power revealed itself not through destruction, but through disciplined restraint guarding a servant's fragile path. Saint Don Bosco's legacy endured unbroken because heaven intervened precisely when human strength failed. The miracle ensured that his mission reached completion, proving that divine care extends into physical danger when souls stand at stake. For believers, Grigio became a reminder that obedience invites protection. Not comfort, not ease, but preservation. God's guardianship may appear unfamiliar, even unsettling. Yet it remains perfectly aligned with His authority and timing. Standing at the edge of history, this miracle resists dismissal. It does not ask to be admired, only acknowledged. Something walked those streets that answered to heaven, and its silence spoke louder than thunder ever could. Thus, the story closes in reverent certainty. Saint Don Bosco was guarded, the mission preserved, and violence restrained. What remained was faith strengthened by lived encounter, leaving hearts inclined toward prayer, gratitude, and a quiet, unforced Amen.